A motorcycle rider tries desperately to flee from a man chasing him. However, the rider ends up crashing and his chaser catches up with him. The chaser retrieves a keycard from the rider's pocket and departs. Elsewhere in the city, crime boss Abram Tarasov has his men start evacuating his headquarters. His right-hand man wonders why they should move because of a car. Abram explains that his brother's son Yosef had stolen John Wick's car and eliminated his dog. Now he and his father Vigo were dead. The right-hand man wants to return the car, but Abram fears that John is beyond reason. Suddenly, the phone rings and John tells Abram that he has his car. John, the man chasing the motorcycle rider, has managed to enter the warehouse with the keycard and eliminate several of Abram's men. A chill runs down Abram's spine as he listens to the commotion outside. John retrieves his car, but Abram's men chase after him. He manages to take most of them out and return to the warehouse. The resulting fight heavily damages his Mustang, but John's skills leave no man standing. He walks into Abram's office and pours him a drink, calling for peace. Abram is glad to make the promise as John spares his life. John returns to his place with his new dog. He still reminisces on his late wife Helen and hopes to start afresh now that he has nothing tying him to his old life. He calls his friend and mechanic Aurelio to fix the Mustang. One evening, John gets a visit from Santino D'Antonio, the Camorra crime boss. After Vigo gave John an impossible task in exchange for his freedom to retire and marry Helen, John reaches out to Santino for help. Santino helped him, and in return, John swore to an unbreakable blood oath medallion called a marker. Now, Santino wants John to honor his marker. However, John has quit the business and blatantly refuses to offer his services to Antonio. Antonio leaves, but outside he fires a grenade launcher into the house, knocking John out. Luckily, John's new puppy rouses him and he exits the house that is now engulfed in flames. John goes to the New York Continental Hotel to speak with the manager Winston. He leaves his puppy with the hotel's concierge care on. Winston reminds John that the criminal empire has two significant rules. One prohibits conducting business in the Continental hotels worldwide, while the second demands that everyone honor their markers. Seeing no other choice, John seeks out Antonio, wanting to honor the marker. Antonio wants John to assassinate his sister Gianna. Before his death, Antonio's father had left his seat at the high table to Gianna, and now Antonio wants it. The high table is a council of 12 high-level crime bosses. John thinks the task is impossible, making Antonio remind him that getting his freedom was also impossible. He gives John Gianna's location in Rome where she is getting inducted. John travels to Rome and visits various criminal stores to get bulletproof suits, weapons, and the map to Gianna's location. While conducting his business, Antonio's trusted mute bodyguard Ares watches him closely. On the night of the coronation event, John enters the building through the catacombs, leaving some weapons strategically in case he needs to make a fierce exit. Gianna asks her bodyguard Cassian to excuse her while she retouches her makeup. She's startled to see John in the room and realizes that someone wants her dead. John explains his circumstances when Gianna asks him what he's doing back in the business. Gianna undresses and goes into the bathtub. She slices her wrists using a hairpin. John asks why she would take her own life, and Gianna says that she wants a voice in how she dies. She also asks John whether Helen would want him back in the business, citing that Antonio will rule New York ruthlessly. After she falls unconscious due to blood loss, John mercy kills her with a bullet to the head. At the party, John encounters Cassian, who immediately suspects something terrible has happened. The two shoot each other, but John manages to escape, so Cassian sends some men after him while he rushes to get Gianna. John manages to eliminate all the men chasing him and returns to the catacombs. Here, he's ambushed by Ares, and he correctly guesses that Antonio sent her to get rid of loose ends. A fierce gunfight ensues, with John retrieving the hidden weapons and efficiently eliminating the bodyguards. Eventually, he makes his way outside, but is once again ambushed by Cassian. The two have a fierce fight all over the town, eventually crashing into the Continental Hotel. The manager warns them against continuing their fight and advises them to get a drink at the bar. John reveals that he has Antonio's marker and wanted Gianna dead to get her seat at the high table. Cassian understands that John had no choice, but he promises to avenge Gianna as she was close to him. The two men promise each other a quick and swift kill. Cassian pays for the drinks as a professional courtesy. In the bar, John realizes that Ares is still following him, and she promises to continue hunting him. John returns to his room where Antonio calls him, saying that he wants to eliminate John to avenge Gianna's death. John hangs up and calls the manager to arrange safe passage to New York. Antonio calls the crime syndicate communication network and creates an account, placing a $7 million bounty on John's head. The network sends the message to every assassin in the world just as John returns to New York. Winston visits Antonio, asking him to complete the marker and free John. After Antonio completes the marker, Winston scolds him for stabbing the devil in the back and burning the beast's temple. He warns him that John will find him and have his vengeance. John is spotted by several assassins and they try to attack him. John manages to fight off and kill some of them, but one shoots him in the stomach. His luck runs out as Cassian also follows him. The two continue their fight into the subway, with John killing several assassins along the way. On the train, John and Cassian face off in a knife fight. Both men are matched in strength and tactics. Cassian stabs John in the leg, but John quickly recovers and continues the fight. This time he gains the upper hand and stabs Cassian in the chest with his knife. Before exiting the train, he tells Cassian the knife is in his aorta, and if he removes it, he will bleed to death. John considers this to be a professional courtesy. As soon as he alights, John spots more assassins looking for him. He rushes to a beggar, drops a silver coin, and asks to be taken to the Bowery King before passing out. The beggar takes out the two assassins chasing John. When John regains consciousness, he finds himself in the Bowery King's headquarters. His wounds have been treated and the assassins' bodies are being incinerated. John approaches the Bowery King, who is busy with his pigeons. The Bowery King controls the underworld, and he and John had an altercation in the past. He shows John a scar on his neck that he had inflicted on him. John wants help, and the Bowery King laughs at him, but agrees to help when he learns that John is going after a member of the High Table. He gives John a Kimber M1911 pistol with 7 bullets, each representing $1 million from the bounty on his head. John is frustrated, but he has no option. The Bowery King directs John to the art museum where Antonio is holding a gala. John gets into the museum and starts killing Antonio's guards, stealing their guns when he runs out of bullets. Antonio calls Ares to the gala while he and 3 bodyguards continue fleeing from John. John finds them in a mirror image room. Antonio starts taunting John to give up as he has nothing to live for, no home, no wife or life. Despite these hurtful words, John continues looking for Antonio, taking out his bodyguards. Ares and a few men enter the room, so John has to start dealing with them too. Ares locates Antonio and helps him exit the museum while she remains behind to deal with John. Unfortunately, she is no match for John as he manages to stab her fatally. Antonio rushes to the Continental Hotel, intending to stay there indefinitely and save himself from John's wrath. John gets to the hotel and meets a smirking Antonio. Winston is also present and he pleads with John to stay calm. However, John shoots Antonio dead. He leaves the hotel after getting his dog back from Charon. John returns to his burned-down house and manages to find a necklace belonging to his late wife. He holds it dearly and cries as the rain soaks him and everything around him. The following day, Charon summons John to meet up with Winston. Winston explains that John had broken the rules, so his hands were tied, and he had no choice but to declare John Excommunicado. This means that all his access and privilege to underworld resources are terminated. John realizes what his actions mean and wonders why he's still alive. Winston shares that he cares for John and has given him a 1-hour head start. He also gifts him a marker to use in the future. John learns that the Camorra has doubled his bounty and offered it globally. John is grateful for the gesture and he exits the park. Before departing, he tells Winston to warn all the assassins that come after him, saying that he will kill them all. Winston smiles as he watches John leave, expecting nothing less. He then calls the communication network to declare John Excommunicado in an hour. As the message reaches assassins worldwide, John sees many assassins all around, and he starts running for his life alongside his dog. Do leave a comment telling us your favorite part of the movie. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to avoid missing the next recap. Until next time folks, take care and goodbye.